Hello and good evening everybody. 7th of June 2024 बहुत बड़े इवेंट्स हम क्रॉस कर चुके हैं। बहुत सारी चीजें देखने को मिल गई। ये भी पता लग गया कि कैलकुलेशंस कब कैसे और कहाँ इनकरेक्ट हो सकते हैं, मार्केट कैसे रिएक्ट करता है। बहुत ही अमेजिंग रोलर कोस्टर राइड, अगर मैं इसको बोलूं सही तरीके से, इन पॉजिटिव सेंस, हम देख के निकले हैं। और ऐसा ही कुछ प्रिडिक्शन जो था वो हमको हमारे वीकली राउंडअप में लास्ट टाइम देखने को मिला था। तो अब मैं समझता हूं कि आने वाला वीक कैसा होने वाला है और इस वीक से हम क्या सीख सकते हैं, क्योंकि लास्ट वीक ही हमको गाइडेंस मिली थी, दिस वीक वुड बी अ वीक ऑफ लर्निंग एंड नॉट द वीक ऑफ अर्निंग। तो चलिए ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लगाते हैं एंड लेट्स ब्रिंग इन आवर पार्टनर इन क्राइम, अंकित खंडेलवाल ऑन स्टेज। हाय अंकित, गुड इवनिंग, वेलकम बैक।
Hello, good evening, thank you.
आपका वीक जो वेलकम करने वाला था वो कुछ ज्यादा ही वेलकम विद अ बैंग हो गया।
Yes.
अब क्या हुआ, क्यों हुआ और क्या समझ में आया आपको?
So Rachit, if you remember, I clearly mentioned in the last video that all traders should stay away from the market till Tuesday. So what happened on Monday and Tuesday was definitely it felt more extreme than what I actually thought it would. It was just too wild, and in fact, it as a person who if you tell me that you take a trading call on a Monday morning or a Tuesday, in such a wild market, most likely I would have been wrong.
Right.
So going with that, I think if people stayed away from markets on Monday and Tuesday,
Hmm.
then they would have been a happier person in this week. Because if you look at it, what we had at around last Friday, just before the election result, those levels 20 to 500. After all the ups and downs, we had come back to around those levels on Wednesday towards the end.
Right.
Okay, so yes, of course, and you also saw what happened basically,
Right.
and why it was justified. The movement was definitely justified. Uh, the kind of expectation created by those exit polls, I must have read about some 5 or 7 different exit polls, and no exit poll assigned less than 360 seats
Right.
to NDA, which
Poll
is
of poll
way.
was somewhere in between 370 to 390.
Yeah. Some had 400 plus also,
Right.
no doubt about it. But no exit poll. Even talking about a very prudent exit poll, it still said 360 seats to NDA, which was also way off the mark, as you
Exactly.
can see. As you can see. So जो exit poll ने create किया, the whole expectation that what they created. Obviously, Monday was a reflection of that, no doubt
Right.
about it. Okay. Tuesday was the reflection of actuals, and because it was so way off the mark. मतलब अगर इतना अनरियलिस्टिक एक्सपेक्टेशन नहीं क्रिएट किया होता तो शायद मंडे को भी वो नॉइज कम होता और ट्यूसडे को भी इतना नीचे नहीं जाता.
To a
All
very
this,
great extent.
yeah. So all this, 8.5% down, 6, 7% up, all of this because of the unrealistic kind of expectation created by the so-called exit polls.
Right.
Uh, so of course, then the actual was way off the mark. So
Hmm.
we saw on Tuesday, but uh, as the week progressed, and we saw that धीरे धीरे by Thursday we had a full clarity that Mr. Modi will be supported by Nitish Kumar or CN, and they will form the government. So I think it is sinking into the markets now that the previous position matlab keeping the political thing out of the picture, we
Right.
should now start focusing on where we were before all of this. Okay, we had factored in whole lot of thing politically, and now we are more or less going to achieve that with a similar sort of a thing. Okay, one may argue that you know because there is no absolute majority, uh, they might have difficulty in taking tough calls economy wise. Okay, one may argue that it has been seen in the past that coalition governments have had it tough. They have delayed taking tough calls, and that has had drastic impacts on the economy. No doubt about it. But one may even say that because of absolute totalitarian गवर्नमेंट अभी एक थोड़ा बैलेंस्ड अप्रोच और थोड़ा चेक एंड बैलेंस रहेगा. सो इस चीज के तो आई वुड से देयर आर टू साइड्स टू दिस. Okay, and both arguments seem to be pretty valid.
Right.
So
There
going
is
forward,
no perfect right in this. Both of the
correct,
arguments look absolutely correct when you look at from their end.
correct,
Okay,
correct.
so again, what do you want to say about this RBI policy that we came across today, and how do you read it?
Yes, yes. So it was very much in line of with expectation. I did not expect the RBI to change any rates as of now. Uh, but yeah, of course, rate cuts have started. If you know, yesterday we heard from Canada and ECB, they have cut rates. So
After 5 years?
after 5 years, yes, correct. So it is an indication. It is an indication in that direction. Uh,
Right.
you know, sooner or later, this may result in a position where US also cuts rate. Okay, we may not, like the RBI governor said today, that our cutting the rate is not depending on the US. Okay, but that is okay. But broadly speaking, if the Western economies are in a position to cut rate, or are in a position where they have to cut rates, uh, the situation will not be very very different in front of Indian economy. It cannot be a complete opposite scenario. So while they are on the path of cutting rates as of now, we are going to get there sooner or later. So
Right.
we may delay cutting of rates or whatever, or we may delay and hope that we do not come to a point that we have to. But in an economy like India, you have to take care of different angles, inflation and everything. So everything is not a, you know, it's not a set rule that इतना से इतना हो गया तो इसको रेट काट देते हैं. That those it's not a hard and fast kind of a perfect rule that
There's no fixed parameter as to how do we reach to that level.
correct, correct,
Right.
correct.
Right.
So India having its own unique issues and problems. आपको अलग अलग factors देखने पड़ते हैं. So as a with all of that, our RBI is obviously at it with all the position, with all the statements today that they've made. They still say that 4.5 percent is the inflation we are targeting, and they will work towards it. अब वो कितने नेचुरल वे में कितना जल्दी होता है, या कोई एक्सटर्नल मेजर्स उसमें लगते हैं, दैट विल कम टू सी, विल सी.
Right. So, with all this, all the adventure and excitement, how do you see the next week panning out?
Next week, Rachit, I think now new factors that are being playing into the markets is now monsoons.
Okay.
Uh, the new ministry that will be announced. अब तो क्या है, अभी वो मिनिस्ट्रीज का कैसे रहता है, जैसे आज आई थिंक आज अनाउंसमेंट आ गई है कि संडे इवनिंग पीएम इज टेकिंग द ओथ. So once
Right.
that is there, and then ministries are announced, and then strictly speaking, next week there is not much event as such, but now the triggers could be monsoons and the next budget. सो अगर अब जैसे अगला बजट है, बट जैसे मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है, बजट्स हैव बीन लार्जली यू नो नॉट सो सिग्निफिकेंट इन टर्म्स ऑफ चेंजिंग द कोर्स ऑफ मार्केट. तो क्या है, वो बजट में उतना नहीं है, बट हाँ ठीक है, एक एक्सपेक्टेशन रहती है. तो बजट में प्री बजट एक्सपेक्टेशन रैली एंड वो फॉर ट्रेडर्स आई थिंक दैट विल बी द प्ले पॉइंट नाउ. तो अब मेरे को लग रहा है कि नेक्स्ट वीक इट शुड रिमेन इन रेंज, बट बिकॉज ऑफ नाउ अ सर्टेनिटी with the political space, I think that the typical range that I keep talking about, 20 to 500 and around that.
I was about to ask, range का
हाँ
क्या हुआ?
हाँ हाँ. तो आई एम कमिंग टू दैट. तो वो जो रेंज है, मेरे हिसाब से वी शुड रिमेन रेंज बाउंड, नो डाउट अबाउट इट. बट इन माय ओपिनियन, नाउ that this political uncertainty bit is out of it, we can, maybe it is prudent to move the range upwards.
Okay.
एंड मे बी यहाँ से 1000 पॉइंट ऊपर, जो मेरी पहली रेंज थी, 1000 पॉइंट ऊपर, 23,500 to 22,800, that kind of range, we can work with that kind of range. I think it will be prudent to assume that Nifty stays in that kind of range, and any sort of noise or any sort of momentary push or pullback
Right.
will shift it out of the range and get it back inside the range. So I think उतना रहना चाहिए मेरे हिसाब से.
So, does it mean that last week आप जितना cautious थे और last week आपको जो volatility दिख रही थी वो अब कहीं ना कहीं cool off होती हुई दिख रही है, and we should have a subtle, more relaxed week which we are about to enter into, and the range would be somewhere in between, say 20 to 760, 22 800 to 23 500. Now we have shifted the points, and
Yes,
till the time we closing somewhere above 22 700 levels, we are in a position and the markets have their range and everything in place.
yes, that's exactly what I meant. We
चलिए.
can shift the range on the upside, and till the time I don't see anything so drastic happening that it goes down below 22,700 for no rhyme or reason. So अभी कुछ वो मेजरली कुछ ऐसा आ नहीं रहा है. एंड strictly talking about next week, I don't see anything so drastically positive also that 23,500 के ऊपर चला जाए. So उस रेंज में वर्क करते हैं. I think it should be a nice idea for the traders to play around in this range.
Perfect. So we have got the range, we have got the idea. Thank you, Ankit, for joining and preparing us for the week. Last weekly roundup बहुत important था, and I'm pretty sure हमारे viewers को भी लगा होगा कि कुछ miss हो ना हो, weekly roundup miss नहीं होना चाहिए. Weekly roundup actually gives a good guidance for the week ahead. It was amazing talking to you, and thank you for joining us. Hope to see you in the next weekly roundup. Till then, thank you and have a good weekend.
Thank you. You have a good weekend. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.